I'll tell you to sit her down real quick.
That's crazy. When was this?
Like
Thruple.
5 seconds ago. I was so confused by her presence. I didn't even know
Sounds
how to
good.
respond to her.
Jenny said that she is open to the thruple
All right.
idea.
Oh
Anyways,
God,
see you
shut
We're a
up,
little
guys.
bit
Dolly.
behind
Get out of
schedule
here.
here, but today we're brought here for the state versus Mr. Johnny Fingers. Mr. Fingers, your representation is Mr. Cortez. Is that in the eyes of the court?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Make sure that we're all using our big boy voices so that the court can hear you properly. Mr. Fingers, at this time you're being charged with one count of accomplice of kidnapping of a government employee. How you plead to that charge?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
One count of accomplice to a robbery of a financial institution.
Not guilty, Your Honor.
One count resisting arrest.
Guilty, Your Honor.
All right. One count of felony obstruction of justice.
Not guilty, Your Honor.
And one count of grand theft auto.
Pleading guilty, Your Honor.
All right. The court notes down that you pled guilty to resisting arrest and grand theft auto. Um, Mr. Galante, the court understands you're going to be representing the state today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. With that, we're gonna open the floor to opening statements. Galante, I know it's kind of short notice. Do you think you could give one?
Yeah, sure.
All right, the court is yours.
Your Honor, thank you for having us today. Today, I will prove why Mr. Fingers is guilty of all charges committed today. Clearly, Mr. Fingers, this is not a case of wrong place, wrong time. This is a clear and cut, obvious case that Mr. Fingers was and will be proven by multiple witnesses today that he was an accomplice to multiple felonious crimes today. And that is my job today to prove to you that Mr. Fingers will be prosecuted by yours truly, Your Honor, Mr. Timo Cruz.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cortez, if you're ready.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the court, today we are gathered here to examine the charges brought against Mr. Johnny Fingers by the state of San Andreas. Mr. Fingers stands accused of serious offenses, including being an accomplice to kidnapping a government employee, robbery of a financial institution, felony obstruction of justice, as well as the two charges of which he has articulated guilty. These are grave allegations, and it is crucial to remember that the burden of proof lies with the prosecution. They must prove each charge beyond a reasonable doubt. From the outset, I want to make it clear that the defense's position is that the evidence presented by the prosecution is insufficient to substantiate these charges. There is not even seen photos of the alleged robbery in evidence. Throughout this trial, we will demonstrate that the prosecution's case is built on weak and circumstantial evidence and assumptions rather than incontrovertible facts. Regarding the charge of being an accomplice to a government employee, the prosecution must prove that Mr. Fingers had knowledge and intentionally insisted in the commission of this crime. However, there is a glaring lack of direct evidence linking Mr. Fingers to the planning and execution of this act. On the charge of being an accomplice to robbery of a financial institution, again, the prosecution has failed to provide concrete evidence. There are no surveillance images, no fingerprints, no DNA evidence that links Mr. Fingers to the crime. The prosecution's case relies heavily on circumstantial evidence and speculative connections that do not meet the rigorous standards required for a criminal conviction. For the charge of felony obstruction of justice, the prosecution must demonstrate that Mr. Fingers knowingly and willfully obstructed the administration of justice. However, they have presented no clear motive or direct actions taken by Mr. Fingers that would constitute such a criminal offense. Throughout this trial, we ask you to consider the lack of substantial evidence presented by the prosecution. The law requires that guilt be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and in this case, there are significant doubts. Mr. Johnny Fingers deserves a fair trial, and the presumption of innocence must be upheld. We are confident that once you have heard all the evidence, or rather, lack thereof, you will find that the prosecution has not met its burden. We ask that you return the verdict of not guilty on all the remaining charges. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, well put, Mr. Cortez. Thank you. All right, let me know that I am very particular with my cases. If you were pursuing a charge I better see proper arguments for it. And the so if do not leave any charge out if you intend to try to come toward the defendant with it. That being said, the state, Mr. Galante, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to call up my first witness, Mr. Clyde Taylor.
Oh yeah, that's me. Get out of here. Help!
Clyde, you're fucking up right now, Clyde.
Is that man
Please.
drunk?
Mr. Clyde, if you would.
Clyde, you're making us look bad right
Yeah,
now. Clyde. Get
I'm
the fuck
trying,
out
bro,
of here.
but I'm stuck. Help me, step, bro. Please, Judge.
Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here.
God
Somebody
fucking
bring
damn
a breathalyzer.
Oh, sorry. Habit. Go again.
Fuck me, Clyde.
Like in, Clyde. Come on, like in.
I'll sit on this side, you know.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, Clyde, raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth to help you reason?
Yes, I do.
All right, have a seat.
Thanks, Judge.
All right,
All right, go
Mr.
ahead.
Taylor, how are you today?
Yeah, no, pretty good. Hey, how are you, bro? Pretty good.
All right, cool. So you want to just tell me exactly what happened today leading up to this court case?
Okay, so I wasn't today, you know, because I swore to tell the truth. It was the other day. I think it was like well, I'll probably say it was like 5 days ago. So I was chilling down at the depot yard, right? And you know, I was doing some tow truck driving stuff with Valentina. And then what happened is these guys came up in this car and they were being like really aggressive and really like, you know, like really mean in that. And then they like pull guns and say, get in the car. And then so like we jumped in the back of the car and then they took us to the bank. And I think the bank was it was one of the banks. I can't quite remember the bank, you know, but it was one of the fleekers, you know. It was pretty hard to see where I was going in the back of a chunk of a car, you know. So anyway, then when I got there, you know, they robbed the bank and then they started like getting pretty aggressive and threatening to kill us. They threatened to kill Montoya as well. They said they're going to shoot her, and you know, like it was pretty tense. But then the police officers managed to calm them down and stuff. You know, maybe they're on their period that day or something. I don't know. You know. So anyway,
All right, Mr. Taylor,
you know,
are any of the individuals who kidnapped you in this room today?
oh yeah, the one over there in the white suit with the green
Objection,
shirt.
Your Honor. Speculation.
What?
How's it speculation? He's the one who's
One
in the.
second, Clyde,
Oh, shot. My
second,
bad. Sorry.
second.
It sounds
Thank
more
you,
like a cross questioning, Mr. Corter. I'm gonna allow him
Understood.
to continue for right now.
Okay, yeah. So the fella, one of the guys that I recognize is you know, after. So okay, let me get back to it. Right. So the guy over there, he was wearing this black rag over his head. He was wearing this. He was fully blacked down. He had this red text on him. And then when the cops caught him, they put the mask back on his head. And then I was managed to identify that was actually the person that kidnapped me. You know. And then they took his mask off, and then that's where I saw his face, and then that was the guy who kidnapped me. So.
Okay, so just
I don't know why I
for the
keep saying
court,
you know.
when you saw the individual, what was he wearing?
He was wearing this black, like you know,
Yeah, I know,
like this black
Juju.
rag over his head. Must have been pretty hard for him to see when he's driving and stuff. He was wearing full black, and he had like a little bit of red text on his shirt as well, and it was exactly the same as the guy.
Okay, and then you said when he was captured by law enforcement, was he matching the same description that you've seen?
Well, no, at first he wasn't because he wasn't wearing a mask, so it didn't look like the same guy.
Gotcha.
So then the cops went and put the mask, got him to put his mask back on, and then I was like, oh my god, it's exactly the same person, you know. So that rag over his head, they draped it back over his head, and it looked exactly the same.
So for the court, you can say that you've seen this individual with his clothing or with his mask on,
Yes.
and now with his mask off the same day, correct?
Yes, that
Your
is
Honor,
correct.
compound question.
Yeah, I'll agree. Make sure you separate your questions, Mr. Glenn.
No issues. So you would say that the individual that you saw that day is in this courtroom, correct?
Yes, he's sitting over to my right, your left, and well, standing actually with
It
his
would have been a
hands
great
in front of his
objection.
crotch.
Gotcha. before? Do it throughout your day, that day, 5 days ago. Have you seen him throughout the day? Anything throughout
Oh
your
yeah, I saw him afterwards. I sold him a house. Sold him and his boys a house afterwards, you know, and then I punched him in
Objection,
the
Your
face.
Honor. Relevance.
Yeah, I
I'm
believe
getting there.
Clyde. He asked you prior to. So man.
Oh, prior to? Oh, sorry, no, I have not seen him prior. No, apologies. Yes, I have. When I was showing them the houses, I saw him prior, but that he wasn't masked up and stuff because I was like, I'm a realtor and stuff, and I was showing him around houses.
So when you saw the individual unmasked, what thoughts went through your head?
Oh, you know,
Objection,
it's
Your
pretty.
Honor. Calling for opinion testimony.
Yeah, I don't really see the relevancy at this point. The re-question, please.
So when you sold Mr. Fingers the house, you would say that.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
going to agree.
The door was open though. I mean, we allowed the question about him selling the house to him.
Well, no, he objected to that, and I agreed to his objection. So
I am going somewhere with it, but it's no issues.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'll give you one more question. If it doesn't seem like it's related, I'm going to strict all three questions.
You know what? Actually, no more further questions from Mr. Taylor.
All right. Mr. Cortez, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. For the court, can you please state your name and title?
Clyde Taylor, victim.
All right, Mr. Taylor, you were recounting the clothing of the hostage taker in your previous statement. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, that's correct.
And how many hostage takers were there on this day?
From memory there was two.
And
Well,
can
no,
you
three
please
actually. There was three.
Perfect. Can you please describe the description for each of those hostage takers?
I cannot describe the description because I cannot recall. I can describe the one person that was caught because, you know.
So to confirm, you only can recall the person you saw in custody with police. You cannot recall the other two hostage takers?
At the time, that was the only person that was caught. I would, if the other people were caught, I'd be able to, you know, because I was taken to this room and made to ID someone, you know, like the lineup room stuff. And I was like, so when it comes to it, you know, it was quite some time ago, and I gave my statement on the day for what I could recall and what I could remember, you know. Some people stand out more than others.
Understood. And you just mentioned your statement that you gave on the day. If we look at that, can you tell me why you did not include descriptions for more than one hostage taker in that description?
Sorry, Judge, am I allowed to go look at the statement that I made because he's asking to?
Yeah, the court. He's basically presenting it as evidence at this point. So yes.
Hey, give me a moment. So can you rephrase your question for me? Sorry.
Yes, sir. In your statement, after you have looked at it, can you tell me why you did not include a description for any of the other hostage takers when making your statement?
Because one of them stood out, and I did my statement well after the fact, and I was pretty busy that day, and there was other things, and that was the one that stood out to me the most in relation to all the people that were there. So
Understood. So, in your opinion, you have a lot of things that were on your mind that day.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Mr. Cook opened the door for that question. So overruled.
well, okay, so if I have things on my mind that doesn't, you know, like obviously I was just taken hostage. I'm sure if you're taken hostage, you'll be pretty you know, you'd be distraught. And you know, some things stand out more than others. You know, you get flashbacks, you get like, you know, vivid memories when you see someone. You know, you get that feeling of fear, you get that feeling of thing. So yeah, I had a lot of things on my mind, and one of the things on my mind was that guy kidnapped me.
Understood. Understood. Can you recall any other important details from that day that you failed to mention in your statement?
That was quite some time ago, and I've had many cases since then, so I cannot. But however,
did
you
you
know,
say,
post the
Kyle?
fact.
You said you've had many cases since then. Can you elaborate?
No, I
Objection, Your
cannot.
Honor, relevant.
Terrible witness.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Galante on that one.
And he's the DA.
Right.
And you said that when he was captured by law enforcement, you were taken into a lineup. That's correct?
Well, I was next to the lineup room, and I was talking with the police officers. And when I looked over my right hand side shoulder, when I was facing the wall, I got pretty annoyed because I saw the guy took me hostage, and I pointed him out. So not the official lineup room, but just in the cells.
Okay, so were you given any coaching by law enforcement prior to this
Nope.
lineup?
Nope.
Did any of the law enforcement officers on that day identify him as the person who was arrested for the crimes?
From memory, I did get to give a description of the person, but they did not identify the person. They said, obviously they have someone under arrest, and I've got free entrance in and out of the PD, and I have the PD radio, so I'm not really sure how I can answer that question without knowing that someone was arrested from that, so.
I see. So you just said that you saw my client over there in the cells before you gave your statement?
My statement was given. My verbal statement was given, because obviously after people are taken hostage, you get people that look after you and stuff, and talk to you afterwards. And he does meet the description of the person that I described, and then I wrote my formal statement down and put it into the tablet afterwards.
All right, and Mr. Taylor, thank you for your time. The defense will go ahead and arrest on this witness.
All right, Galante, any redirect to the questions that Mr. Corter asked?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Clyde, you can head back to your seating choice, please. All right.
I'm just gonna stay.
Witness state.
Miss Russo.
Miss Russo, you understand you are to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you, Manny.
Yes.
All right, you may have a seat.
How you doing today, Miss Russo? If you could just, again, just for the course, state your name and what you do for a living.
I'm Valentina Russo, and I am a trainee for EMS.
Okay. So again, apologies for what happened 5 days ago. Can you just tell me exactly what happened on that day?
So yeah, so me and Clyde were doing towing for the police department, and we were taken hostage by three masked men, and they were kind of rude and disrespectful, which was yeah. Anyways, and so they drove. I guess they drove us to a flita.
That's crazy.
And not exactly too sure what was going on, but once I got into the bank, they were mentioning how they're
See, if you would've
wanting
brought that up,
to
it
kill
disqualified both of
Montoya,
their statements.
and they
Objection,
were
Your Honor. Say.
It's,
Yeah, I'm going to agree to that.
Your Honor,
please.
it's her testimony. It's not hearsay. She's saying what she heard, what she witnessed.
I'm going to. I
And
still.
and they are in the courtroom. Whoever was arrested that day.
It was literally a part of
Well,
her statement.
that
She
hasn't been
already
decided yet. So, I like her to just speak for her own experience and not what she heard, please.
oh, okay. So they were just talking amongst each other, and then we were pretty much had guns to our heads, and then afterwards they just let us loose and
Miss
went to
Russo,
the left.
what did you hear? people talk about in the bank.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you before you even object. Galante, we just went over that.
No,
She
it,
can't.
I tried. You can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
A new question.
Continue, Miss Russo.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so we the cops. Well, Montoya was the last one. She took our statements on what happened, and then I gave her all the information I just said to you, and then that was that.
Okay, can you describe some of the individuals that you've seen that day who took you hostage?
Honestly, the only one I can remember to the T is the guy that was dressing in all black, and then he had like a black mask, and then there was one other guy that had like an animal mask on, but that's pretty
With the
much it.
guy who was dressed with the black. Can you describe this to me?
The mask is like it kind of looks like a cloth thingy on his head. I'm not too sure how you would consider that a mask. It's like kind of like draped on his head.
Was
It's
the
kind of
mask completely black?
yeah, it was completely black.
There was no other colors to the mask.
Not that I'm
Objection, Your
aware
Honor.
of.
Asked and answered. She stated it was completely black already.
I mean, she's the same. So that's fine.
I'm not too sure. It's been 5 days. It's been a long. I don't. Yeah, it's been 5 days.
No issues. Did you happen to see the individual after the situation subsided?
So Clyde got a call from the police department to come identify the guy. I'm not, and then I was with him, and so we went to the jail cells. I was facing the police officers, and I happened to look over my right shoulder, saw the guy, and they made him put his mask on, and I identified him then.
Okay, so the individuals you seen with the mask on while you were being kidnapped, then after the fact, when he put the mask back on, is the same person, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. That was a compound question.
Technically, but I mean, it wouldn't really. Not gonna waste his time to have him split the questions up.
Understood.
So the individual that you seen in the lineup room, is he in this courtroom today? And if he is, can you point them out to me?
Yeah, he's the guy with the tuxedo shirt and the green shirt. Yeah, standing up to the right of me.
And that was for the incident of you being kidnapped at the Fleeka with Clyde Taylor, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So you would say that the individual is the person who kidnapped you?
Yeah, I mean, I identify him in the cells, and I identify him now as well.
Further questions, Your Honor?
All right, Mr. Corter, you're a witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Ms. Russo,
Yeah.
you work for PD Tow, is that correct?
No, I don't. I just start towing cars because I couldn't get an FTO for EMS.
So you don't work as a tow truck driver for the police department?
Objection,
You
Your
are towing
Honor.
cars?
What's the objection?
Well, was asked and answered, and then he was going to go into a compound question.
Yeah, it has been answered. So yes, please. Next question.
Why were you towing vehicles even though you are not a member of PD?
Objection. Irrelevance.
Is it going somewhere? All right, I'll allow him to continue with the question.
Well, because I need money and I need to have a living for myself.
Understood. You said you were not sure what was going on when you were taken hostage. Is that correct?
Objection,
I said.
Your Honor. She never said that.
She specifically said she was not sure what was going on at the Fleeka Bank.
Your Honor, it's pretty clear what's happening with someone being taken against their will with guns to her. It's not, you know,
They
it's
are
pretty
her
common
words,
sense.
Your Honor. They are not mine.
I'm gonna allow the question to continue.
I didn't know what was going on in the car. Like before I got there, and then when I got there, I noticed that I was taken hostage to a fleet. Not for
And
a
you
stupid reason.
identified that there were 3 hostage takers.
Correct.
And can you give the court a description for anyone? Sorry, let me rephrase that question. The aneurysm. Can you give a description to the court of those 3 hostage takers?
I already answered that question, but I'll do it again. I said there was one individual, I don't know exactly what he's wearing. The second individual was wearing some sort of animal mask, and then the third individual, which was wearing all black and like some sort of cloth mask thing on his head.
And just to confirm, he was in all black.
I mean, I don't know exactly if he has other colors on his clothing, but definitely black was the main color.
And do you recall what sort of animal mask was worn by the other individual?
Objection, Your Honor. We're discussing the case about the masked individual who was unmasked, not about the other individuals.
Building foundation
I see the
interpretation
direction
on
that Mr. Cortez is going, so I'm going to.
Colonel.
I honestly think it was
Just
like a
watching this
cheetah,
fucking
maybe.
mockery.
This is a Prince show or what?
Leopard, something.
What
Not too
bus is
sure
this?
on what kind of animal.
Who's saying
cat
sued?
thing.
Johnny Fingers trial.
Giant fingers.
Yeah.
And you said that when you were with Mr. Taylor in the aftermath, you were called down to PD to identify the individual?
Well, yeah, correct.
And when you were asked to identify the individual, what was the process with which they had you identify him?
Well, honestly, practically just
Can I object, Your Honor?
You can, but
What is the relevance in that line of questioning?
We are going to see if the police department properly put the suspect in a lineup or just set him up to be identified.
I don't think it was.
Miss Russo, 1 second. Miss Russo, 1 second.
Sorry.
Again, I don't see the relevance in that. I mean, the mask was on, then it was off, then it was put back on.
Your Honor, do I need to explain proper lineup procedure?
No, I'm going to shut down the objection and allow you to continue.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Right. Well,
can you please explain the process for which they had you identify the person?
Well, we, like I said, went to the cells, stood by a wall, talked to the officers. I asked, "Hey, can you identify this man?" I was like, "Yeah, if he put his mask on." And so they made him put his mask on, and I said, "Hey, that's the guy."
I see. So there was no other individuals during this lineup process.
No. It's not one of those kind of things you put them in a room and they lined up against a wall. It's nothing like that. It was more of the fact, like, I was told to identify him and I told him I can only identify him if he has his mask on.
And my next question is, when did you write your statement?
So I didn't get a chance to write the statement. I had other things to do. But I did mention that I don't know if I needed to write a statement since it was me and Clyde together. So, yes.
So did you feel your statement wouldn't add value to this case?
Objection, Your Honor. What is that line of question?
She just said she feels she needed to add the statement.
I believe it's a proper follow-up question, so I'll allow.
Well, I didn't. Honestly, I just my words is my own words, but me and Clyde were together, and so like. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought since Clyde is making a statement, my statement would probably be exactly just like his.
Okay. evidence will rest on this witness, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Russo.
Any questions for you, Mr. Galante? Follow-ups to what he asked?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Russo, you may head back to the stands. Thank you.
Yeah.
State has another witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Would like to call up Lieutenant Colonel Isadora Montoya, please.
What's that, you mumblings?
Oh, Montoya, sir. Lieutenant Colonel Montoya.
All right, Miss Montoya, if you be so kind.
Just gonna squeeze in here.
You would raise your hand.
over there.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you, Hancho?
I do.
All right.
Amen.
You may have a seat.
Amen. How you doing, Lieutenant Colonel? Just for the court, if you could just, please pronounce your name and your occupation, please.
Isadora Montoya, Lieutenant Colonel of the San Andreas State Police.
If you could just explain what your role was the day of responding to being called robbery.
Your Honor, leading question.
Right now. A lot of weird objections.
No?
Strange,
Yeah, he
strange
just
law
asked for a
terms
roll.
flying
I
about
thought
here
I
and there.
overruled that.
I'm just gonna automatically take PD's side.
When
What?
the
Yo.
police response to the bank, my role was to retrieve
Johnny.
the
Scumbag,
hostages.
put him under the
which
jail.
was being,
Johnny, are you whispering?
that lovely lady over there with the purple hair
It's a
and
courtroom. Hello.
Clyde Taylor. That was my role at
Can you
the
guys
scene.
shut the fuck up?
Becca, I will come over there and I will beat the fuck
Thinking that we had reached our unit
I'll
limit
beat that
for
pussy up.
operational procedures. It was then asked by Mr. Gubbley to return back. As the numbers were not as accurate as we once thought they were.
Nothing, I didn't say anything,
I
brother.
returned back there to enter his
You're hearing things.
You realize he stood in the middle of us, right, Johnny? You get that, don't you?
And
He can hear this whole conversation.
No, he's not hearing nothing. He just said he
So if you could kindly just shut the fuck up.
Can you guys whisper, please?
God,
Why
you
yeah.
turd. You turd, please.
You back
The
up, what happened?
individual who was
Something
identified
happened
as
to
an
you.
individual who was wearing
Did you
black.
like?
It was like a
Are you not getting sex? Are you? You're not getting
Okay.
laid?
shirt, I guess, type of
Okay.
thing. Like it was like had like thick sleeves with like
Well, talk to me right now.
pockets on the arm. Had some sort of like
It's none of
decal,
your
like
business if I'm
decal on
getting
it. He had like a cow mask, like looks like some
Oh
sort of
my
like
god, bro.
cowl or something over, like a net or something. I don't know. Wearing all black. That was what he was wearing on both scenes at the bank and while he was in the vehicle that he pled guilty to stealing. Excuse me.
Your Honor, if you would allow it, can I reference the evidence within the MDW?
Your Honor, that was not put forth during discovery, so facts are not in evidence. I would object to that.
Yeah, if it's not in the docket, you cannot.
I actually haven't even seen the docket. I'm just asking, is it even in there? Is there?
It is not, and I brought
It's
it
not
forward
in
to
there.
the district attorney that it was not in there and it was never added.
It's a lie. I'm the district attorney. You didn't bring me
All right,
anything.
Clyde, 1 second, it's fine.
I'm sorry, ADA Sterling. I should clarify the title.
Why's Clyde always trying to start drama?
Your Honor, can I approach,
Fucked
please?
up earlier. He's making up for it.
As long as
He
Mr. Cortez
lives
approaches as
for
well.
the
Yes,
tea
absolutely.
and the drama.
Oh shit, they're whispering secrets.
They were given more than enough adequate time to post anything into discovery. So no, what's in the docket is the only thing you can use.
Hello. Oh my god. Some weirdo called me. Then
Yellow
hanged
bro.
up twice.
Alrighty. So when you were requested back to be an additional unit in the pursuit, can you just explain to the court what exactly happened and what you've seen?
Yeah, so I left Mission Road Police Department to reattach the chase. By the time I'd reattached, I was by the airport, the freeway exits by the airport, to which the individual we were pursuing at that time jumped off of the freeway and landed on the bottom ground level, just outside of the airport area. I drove my car down the off ramp to attempt to.
Objection, Your Honor. This is calling for a narrative response.
I'll agree. I need the questions to be a little bit more direct.
Yep, no issues. When you the individual that was arrested that day with the black mask, is he in this courtroom?
He sure is.
What was your involvement in the arrest with Mr. Fingers?
I assisted Mr. Gabaguli in apprehending him once he had used the stolen airport terminal bus, whatever you want to call it, to obstruct myself and Gabaguli. We exited our vehicles and placed him under arrest at that time.
Okay, so I know that you said obstruct. Can you just can you articulate in your profession what it means to felony obstruct?
I mean, in simpler terms, it's an attempt to prevent us from doing our jobs so that somebody who is committing a crime would be able to get away with it, to stop us from apprehending that individual or individuals committing the crime.
So we already, for the court, it was already agreed that Mr. Fingers had pled guilty to the Grand Theft Auto, correct? What did you observe Mr. Fingers do in order to felony obstruct?
So as we were pursuing the pickup vehicle from the other suspect that jumped off of the bridge, we made a sharp U-turn, and the airport terminal bus was there as a block. When Mr. Gabaguli attempted to pass on its right, it drove forward and struck Gabaguli's heat vehicle, causing him to be overturned. When I attempted to make a pass on the left, the airport terminal bus then reversed and blocked me as well.
And this couldn't have been just a mistake?
No.
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
I just asked a question.
Rephrase.
Well, Your Honor, the reason why is because we need to law enforcement needs to articulate what it is to actually obstruct justice, and that's what I asked her, what it means to obstruct.
Right, but your phrase of questioning is just rephrase your question. I don't have a problem with the direction you're going. Just rephrase the question.
What did you observe that was what did you observe the bus or the driver doing in order to obstruct you?
That was asked and answered, Your Honor. Objection.
Yeah, we already covered that. Agreed.
The apprehension or the attempted apprehension of Mr. Fingers, can you explain the process of the apprehension of him?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for a narrative.
How?
I'm gonna allow that question.
Okay, where would you like me to begin? From the time of his arrest at the airport or process?
At the time of the airport.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as the highest rank, once he had obstructed us, I terminated the pursuit on the getaway vehicle, and Gabaguli and I had the gentleman in the airport terminal bus, gentleman in the green shirt over there, exit, to which he attempted to claim that I believe he says something like he was trying to shuttle somebody or something like that, shuttle people over. So we brought him to the back of the airport terminal bus, and I told him that he'd be placed under arrest. He started to fuss and fight, asking why he was being placed in cuffs and being under arrest. Mr. Gabaguli attempted to
cuff him the first time, to which he did resist. I believe this 1 or 2 times, and then he finally was properly apprehended the last final time.
Now, throughout the courses of Mr. Fingers' actions, what I'm sorry, let me ask this question. Why did you break off that swap vehicle?
We broke off the SWAT vehicle because we believe that at that time, it was in our best interest to
Objection, Your Honor. I think that question is vague and ambiguous with the usage of the word swap.
It is commonly known throughout not only this law enforcement, the city, public defenders, as well as
I'm not a law enforcement officer, and I don't know what that word means.
I'm telling you that it is just a commonly known term used within this state.
It's interesting.
All right. For the sake of argument, when someone gives an objection, the DA's representative or the state's representative, in this case, Mr. Galante, is allowed 1 rebuttal. I don't want any back and forth bickering from you two going forward.
Understood, Your Honor.
Keep it brief, but I'm going to allow the question.
Okay. Would you like me to rephrase my answer and start over?
Just because of the objection, yeah, just start from where you were started.
So, the question was, just to reiterate, why did we terminate pursuit on the vehicle swap car? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. The pursuit was terminated as the Mr. Fingers in the airport terminal bus had obstructed us long enough and prevented our pursuit long enough where it was enough expertise to call it VCB, which is visual contact broken. Those of you who don't know, since this is law enforcement. Which means that he was going to be gone at that point. We wanted to apprehend the individual that had obstructed during that time. Because when we looked at him, it was an individual that was from that.
Now, had the bus not collided into Sergeant Gabaguli, would you still be chasing that vehicle?
Yes, sir. Collided into him and myself as well.
So you were also involved in the motor vehicle accident, correct?
Correct.
Objection, Your Honor. This assumes facts, not in evidence. There's no photos of a motor vehicle accident.
Your Honor, this is officer testimony that they witnessed with their own eyes.
Agreed. It is just testimony at this point. So court will allow it.
Yes. After he struck Gabaguli's vehicle with the airport bus terminal, I attempted to go to his left, which would be behind him, and he reversed and blocked me.
Okay, and then just to wrap this up, this was due to the robbery of a financial and the kidnapping of a government employee, correct?
That is correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Corter, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, let me take 2 seconds. Listen.
No.
Oh, are you?
All right. Yeah, sorry. I was just getting my notes put together. All right. It is. What is your rank again? Sorry.
Lieutenant Colonel of the San Andreas State Police.
Lieutenant Colonel. Thank you. On that day in question, you were in charge of retrieving the hostages after the robbery?
That is correct.
Do you happen to know who was in charge of collecting evidence for the robbery?
No, I'm not aware of who's in charge of collecting evidence.
And when you spoke to the witnesses, what are they, the 2 witnesses behind me?
Correct. It's Mr. Clyde Taylor, and I'm sorry, I forget her name. I believe Valentina is her name? Yes.
And when you took their statements, did you notate that on the police report at that time?
No.
Do you know when they gave their formal statements that were put on the report?
I mean, how specific are you wanting me to? That day, that week? an hour after. How specific are you wanting me to get?
When did they put in their statements that were formally put onto the report?
I don't know the exact time they put in a formal statement. I don't want to guess. I don't know when they put in a formal statement.
So, to the best of your knowledge, they did not put it in immediately in the aftermath of the scene.
Objection, Your Honor. It was asked and answered.
I believe he's asking. I'm going to allow it because it's a more descriptive version. It's slightly different. He's just feeding more information, so I'm allowed.
No issues.
Well, I mean, as I stated before, no, I can't tell you whether or not they did it whenever they did it.
Okay. And upon leaving the bank robbery, you were asked to return to the pursuit?
How much you guys think is paying the
Probably
judge?
a couple minutes after. I'd probably say 5 to 10 minutes after.
It definitely is.
And
A crazy objection.
can you
but no
recall
objection.
the clothing for all 3 hostage takers in the robbery?
I can recall the clothing of one. I stated previously with Mr. Galan.
And you stated in that statement that the gentleman was wearing a black tactical shirt, I believe?
Yeah, it's got like a shirt and it's got like thicker sleeves that has like pockets on like the arm.
And did he have any other distinguishing articles of clothing on?
Yeah, and he had like a some sort of like decal, like a colorful decal on like the front of like the shirt. And then he had like the cowl mask, like the net, whatever you want to call it, like a blanket, net, whatever, like mask, like that was like draped over his whole head.
1 second, just to. So you're saying cowl, like COWL?
WL, yeah, like a I don't know what to describe it. It's like a big like net or something that was like draped over his head. Like, I don't know the exact.
Okay, good, because I thought you said cowl mask earlier, and it
No,
threw
no,
me off.
cowl.
All right,
Like
all
like
right,
a
continue.
Okay, yeah, I thought she said cowl as well. That's why I was confused. All right. And when did you write up your report of the incident?
I believe the night of. I don't remember the exact time.
So it was after you had arrested my client?
Yeah, that's how typical procedures work. Is once we have that, once we have the individual apprehended, we'll write statements to compile it. Report.
And you didn't do it in the immediate aftermath of the robbery when you had your 5 to 10 minutes to yourself?
No.
Getting back to the incident that happened at the LSIA, how long after the initial robbery was this?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Well, no, you opened the line of questioning with your question, so I'll allow.
I would say if I have to give you exact estimates, it's like I'd probably say anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes. Gabagooey called me and asked me to reattach, so probably I was there probably 9 to 10 minutes after they had initially left. I mean,
Objection, Your Honor. I don't think I asked her how long it took her to get to that pursuit.
You asked her about the pursuit in question and the incident, so you already objected, and it was turned down. So you do not get a second objection to the question.
Yes, Your Honor.
And during this pursuit, can you describe any of the other vehicles involved?
no, because the initial swap, he jumped over the freeway. I guess I could describe the second one. I saw it for about 2 seconds before I was blocked. It was a red either sports or four-door vehicle.
But you don't recall the first vehicle which you were chasing for approximately 5 to 7 minutes before the incident took place?
No, I was not chasing that. I informed you that I was not chasing the vehicle. Because I had broken off at that
If you will take a look at your written statement which you submitted under the incident, I would like to notate the second paragraph where you stated that you were called to reattach, to which you responded and connected with the suspect's car and it gave out. So are you saying you did not see that vehicle beforehand?
Shit, I'm saying that. Can I look at my
Yes, if you'll look in the
Yeah.
docket, it is statement.
Well, I wasn't
102.
asking for your permission, sir. I was asking for the judges.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. So, yeah, when I say the chase led down to LSA, that's where the pursuit led to. That's where I drove to, where the suspect's vehicle was broken down. He jumped off the freeway. So I never pursued the vehicle. I arrived when the suspect's vehicle had already broken down at LSA.
What? In his profile?
Not on the evidence picture, like the.
And can I describe that vehicle? No, I could not, because I was more focused on the gentleman jumping off
What was in
the
there?
freeway overpass.
Where it says Johnny Fingers
Bro,
clothing items unmasked.
I mean, he was on foot
This is completely random.
next to the vehicle, yes.
All right, Your Honor.
All right.
We are going to go ahead and arrest on this witness for now.
Okay. Any redirect, Glande?
Yes.
That's Paul Costello right over there in the pink long sleeve, leaning up on the
Lieutenant
bar.
Colonel, so again, when you I want to talk about more about the bus that was being used. When the vehicle was traveling, what lane was the vehicle traveling in?
It was kind of on the roundabout.
Objection, Your Honor. This was not put into any of my questionings.
Rebuttal.
This is talking about the obstruction that I mentioned prior.
Right, but it's not in the scope of the questions that he asked. The redirect is for in regards to questions he asked specifically.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Miss Montoya, you may have a seat. Thank you.
All right, it's me and you, baby boy. We gotta.
All right. Stay. You have any more witnesses?
Okay, let's just focus on how this fucker is actually like an accomplice to this. Okay, like how he's involved directly.
I got you.
And then
You asked the
he was
questions. I got the
Mirandized, right?
answers.
He was under
Yeah,
Miranda.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
My final witness, Your Honor, Sergeant Molly Gabagool.
All right. Sergeant, you Sergeant, if you would raise your hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you, Sandman?
I do.
All right, thank you. Have a seat.
Good night.
Bye. Good luck, guys.
All right, Gabagool for the court. Please state your name.
I need to sleep. It's so fucking late.
It's gonna be a 225 Sergeant Miley Gabaguli,
You're on your
LSPD.
fucking phone half this court case.
Get lots of
So if
phone
you could,
calls. I got them, okay?
just please explain what your duties were the night or the day of the
People call me, but yeah, I can't help it.
Nah. So we responded to a Fleeca robbery.
Good luck.
It's the one above an alley.
What was the you responded to what exactly?
It was an active armed robbery of the Fleeca bank with
Were you dispatched there?
hostages. Yes, I was.
You know which fleet it was?
Who's the one on Howick above the Anari, north of Anari.
Okay, continue.
And once at scene, obviously we did the negotiations with the suspects. They had two hostages. The two hostages to the left over there, Clyde and the female in front of him. We negotiated with the suspects. They were very upset and threatening, but we calmed them down. After some negotiation, we finally got the safe exchange of the hostages, and we started chasing them. Throughout the chase, two people in the vehicle that we were chasing jumped out and into a swap. We kept chasing the original vehicle. The vehicle's engine started smoking as a result of incompetent abilities to drive. So the driver of the vehicle got out the vehicle on Davis Bridge right before the LSIA, and he jumped off the bridge. I jumped down after him.
Oh shit.
He jumped it. Well, I drove after him, like drove my vehicle off the bridge, and he jumped into a jester. Started chasing a jester. It was a 15-second pursuit at best. I take a
Objection,
right
Your
turn.
Honor. This is narrative testimony.
He's giving his tail, and he was asked his role. I'll allow.
This is a written testimony, and again, as I was saying, it was about a 15-second pursuit at best. I take a right turn. I'm following the suspect on Primary and
Glad
Heat.
the other one could be
I take a right turn on the LSIA loop. It's like one of the yellow airport buses was completely in the left lane of a one-way road. It was driving down the incorrect lanes, completely clear of where I was. And once the vehicle I was chasing passed it, the yellow bus completely swerved into me and head on me, causing my vehicle to go upside down.
Did
I
you
exited.
did you see any attempts of the vehicle slowing down?
Absolutely not. No attempt to slow down, no.
Could you explain more of what you saw about the bus driver or the individual driving the bus?
Like a description?
Yes, please.
So he was, well, obviously, while he was driving, I could only see his top half, and it wasn't too much. He was wearing like a drape and ghillie mask, like a blacked out ghillie mask. So it looks like a cloth draped over his head. It's literally like a sniper ghillie mask, blacked out. And he's wearing like a black top with some sort of red graphic on the front. It was slightly visible when he was driving, but yeah, it was like a black long sleeve with a red graphic at the front, and a big cloth that was black like a ghillie mask.
Now, with the clothing described, did you see this individual with the exact clothing you described anywhere else today?
So that individual, we later arrested. In the cells, he was unmasked.
One
It's
second,
Johnny
Sergeant. Where did you see? Did you see this individual anywhere else?
Yes. He was inside the Fleeca Bank in the initial robbery.
Objection, Your Honor. That seemed like leading. When he wasn't going the way he wanted, he corrected him and had him re-answer it.
But Your Honor, I'm allowed to
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Your Honor.
No,
Well,
you're allowed your rebuttal. Go ahead.
Well, I hope you're leaning towards me. The rebuttal, I don't have to rebuttal, yeah?
I'm gonna have to agree with Mr. Cortez.
Wait, okay, then let me rebuttal one second.
No, you just gave up your rebuttal option.
Are you kidding me?
I gotta strict what he just said for the
Holy
simple fact that you did try to redirect him back. Is technically leading. You know the law, Glante.
Oh, damn, Daddy. All right, it's fine. Continue, Gabagooli.
So, what question would you like me to answer?
A new one.
Yes. So, can you just jump into the apprehension of the bus driver?
So, yeah. So after the driver intentionally ran me and caused me to go upside down, I exited my vehicle. I had to kick the door open and climb out. I immediately pulled out my taser. I obviously with the vehicle upside down, I can't drive anywhere. I can't do nothing. So I pull my taser out and go to order him to get out. Hopefully he's gonna comply. While I'm walking towards his vehicle, he starts reversing, and pretty much Lieutenant Colonel Montoya over there was trying to go around him to catch up to the fleeing suspect that we're chasing, and he reversed even though he was completely stationary after our accident. He was completely stationary, reversed, and kind to get in an accident with him again. And that's when I started running towards him, pointed my taser at him. He tried to reverse a little bit, but stopped. I told him to get out multiple times. He was saying, why? Finally got out the vehicle. I said, put your hands behind your back. I'm going to go for cuffs. Again, he was saying, why? No. He started walking away from me. I gave him a very stern warning. I said, stop fucking around. You're going to get tased back. He resisted my cuffs 2 times. He finally let me cuff him the 3rd time.
When you
And
say
that's
he resisted your cuffs, what can you explain? Just because I don't know what it means to actually resist.
absolutely. So when he resisted my cuffs, I went to put my handcuffs on him, and he kept shimmying and moving his wrists around, and my cuffs were just, I was unable to cuff him. He was intentionally shimmying his hands out of my cuffs, and I would have to open the cuffs back up and try to put him back on his wrist again.
Objection, Your Honor. What is the relevance of this?
Your Honor, we're arguing the charge of resisting arrest.
Well, the court would like to point out to you that Mr. Fingers already pled guilty to resisting arrest. So
Wait, what? He did?
yeah,
He pled guilty to
beginning.
resisting arrest and grand theft auto at the very beginning of the trial.
I'm doubling down. Continue, Mr. Gabagool.
All right. So again, he resisted my cuffs 2 times. He was finally cuffed the 3rd time. He was immediately asked for if he needed medical attention, which he refused, and then read him his rights, and obviously began a questioning after that.
Okay. So under Miranda, what kind of questions were asked?
Well, obviously he had just head-on collisioned me intentionally, so that's the first place I went. I asked him what he was doing.
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation. He does not know the intention of the individual.
Yeah, I'll strike that portion, but continue with the rest of your statement.
So I initially immediately jumped to that topic. I asked him what he was doing and why he was ramming me. He was just he couldn't really give me a proper answer. He was saying he was working his day job, saying he was been working at the airport all day, and he was just doing his day job, trying to earn a buck. Give me 1 second. I questioned him about his job. I said, how he got the vehicle, why the vehicle is messed up, and he said, no, I've been working all day. I asked him why he intentionally rammed into me, and he said that we came out of nowhere, and he was trying to get out the way, even though he was completely out the way to begin with. By the way, driving down the incorrect lanes of the road, but decided to, once the vehicle I was chasing passed, he decided to ram into me and head on me completely. So I didn't understand what he was
Objection,
saying.
Your Honor. I'm going to again say speculation. He does not know the mindset of the individual in the car.
I'm gonna object. It's not speculating when we can witness, or for anyone can witness, what an intentional swerve is. It's as easy as watching someone tug on the steering wheel one way or the other. It's not speculation, Your Honor. This is common sense.
I'll allow it. That's fine.
The yellow bus was driving in a straight line down the incorrect lanes of the road, and once the vehicle I was chasing passed, the vehicle took a complete left turn into me and head on me. It was
Objection, Your
completely
Honor.
out of the way.
Cumulative. He's already covered this.
Okay, so which vehicle were you chasing? What What was it a part
It,
of?
w- it was the Jester. It was a swap from the Fleeca. Like I said, the driver of the original vehicle at the Fleeca jumped down a bridge and got into the Jester, and that's the vehicle I was chasing.
Did you
So it was,
did you witness the individuals hop into that car from the Fleeca? Did you ever break sight of
yeah,
this?
yes.
One
I drove
second,
my
hold
vehicle.
on. For the court, you never broke sight of the individuals who swapped from that one vehicle into the other vehicle. You maintained visual the whole time.
If the driver of the original vehicle from the Fleeca jumped off the bridge, I drove off the bridge. I watched him sit in the passenger seat of the Jester.
Were there any other buses operating at this time?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
We're talking about a bus that was involved at LSIA with the individual working. I just want to know if there were any other buses in operation that day of a busy airport. Come on.
I'm not really gonna see relevance to that question. No, I'm going.
No issues.
So, yeah.
Okay, so just to recollect, you had visual the whole time on this car. You were chasing it. How far were you away from this vehicle that you were chasing?
I was extremely close to it. I was one car length away from it. Extremely close.
And can you just describe the vehicle you were in?
It was a black in color Vigero. It had the Los Santos Police Department livery on the side, the left and right side of it. I had a light bar on the top of it, and my lights and sirens were on. Everything was on.
Is this can anyone in this or in the DPS allowed to drive this vehicle?
No.
Objection,
it is
Your
only...
Honor. Relevance.
I'm getting somewhere here, Your Honor.
It better be in your next question.
It is.
Or I'll strike it. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, so not everyone's able. Why isn't everyone able to drive this vehicle?
So the heat division, you have to be a part of to drive the heat vehicle. The heat division consists of the best drivers in the department, and you have to go through rigorous training and trials in order to get a certification.
Objection, Your Honor. What's the relevance of this question?
The relevance is that Sergeant Gabaguli would be able to understand the behavior of drivers on the road. He specializes in motor vehicle accidents. He specializes in high-speed pursuits, and he can articulate and see when there's an obstruction occurring that law enforcement goes through every single day. This is what the sergeant specializes in, is highway pursuit.
Is he an expert witness, Your Honor?
Yes, he is.
Did you notate him as an expert witness, or did you just notate him as an officer on the scene?
All right, hold on. This is the back and forth bickering.
Yeah, sorry,
I completely
sir.
instructed you not to do.
My apologies, Your Honor.
I believe it's a bit of a stretch. Now I understand the direction you're going there. I'm gonna strict 2 questions, but I'll keep in mind the sergeant's role as an expert driver.
Thank you, Your Honor. And with that, he is also an instructor. We digress. Okay, so now, with that being said, you were met with force. You got into a motor vehicle accident with the bus. Can you tell me what transpired through the cells when you were booking and processing Mr. Fingers?
So as I mentioned, he was again asked for medical. He said no, read his rights, and then he was placed in a cage unit, transported to MIPD. Obviously, once in the cells, I started getting his charges back together. Johnny Fingers, who again is standing over there in the white suit, green shirt, with his hands in front of him. He was saying that he was just working his day job and he didn't know what was happening, and he was saying words like, not saying words like, he was saying, "This is what I get for working a stage living," whatever. he was completely oblivious to him. I guess ramming into me. He wasn't really giving me a proper narrative, and his narrative was all over the place. He couldn't explain to me why in dispatch the dispatch guy had come in for a stolen vehicle 15 minutes prior. He was saying that he'd been working for the past years.
Objection, Your Honor. This is calling for narrative testimony.
No.
I will agree.
Yeah, I'm not
Please.
objecting to that, Your
Yep.
Honor.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that was spoken about in the cells while getting his questions, or did you question him at all?
Objection, Your Honor. Compound question.
Sergeant
Yep.
Gabaguli, is there anything you questioned him about in the cell?
Other than his reasoning for ramming into me and his involvement in a bank.
Were there any confessions under Miranda that were stated?
Objection, Your Honor. This was asked and answered. He already stated what the suspect was saying in the cells.
Yeah, I'll agree to that.
No further questions.
All right, Mr. Cortez, your witness.
Jesus.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry, guys.
And
I'm
just to
trying. I'm
reiterate,
throwing
your
fucking
rank is
paper
sergeant,
towels at a
correct?
fucking wall, hoping they
Sergeant
stick.
Gabaguli, yes,
Yeah,
that's pretty.
this is wild,
sir.
actually.
It's email's rough.
Main question. You said you kept eyes on the original vehicle at all times and you never once lost contact.
That is correct.
So you maintained eyes on all individuals from the bank robbery?
Objection, Your Honor. Sergeant Gabaguli testified to